I think Oklahoma is going to be pretty good this year. I think. Oh, I'm going to say this too because tomorrow night I'm talking about a team they're going to be playing uh, as a disappointment in 2024. I think Oklahoma is going to roll into Death Valley
Oh boy.
Saturday after Thanksgiving with a playoff opportunity on the line.
Ralph, it sounds
That's
Ralph. It sounds like Bryce lied to us earlier.
yeah.
He told us the check cleared earlier. Now he's changed his tune.
Look, this is where I sit with this. Oklahoma, when you look at what they bring to the table, obviously the big storyline has been the transition from the Big 12 to the SEC. What's going to work? But all this hinges on is Jackson Arnold. I don't want to say they pushed Dylan Gabriel out. I mean, Dylan Gabriel is a very, very good quarterback. Real quick, we got to get this comment. Profile pick is at the top of a Guadalupe Peak in West Texas. It's the highest point in the state. That's amazing. That's way better than Brian Harsin. All right, so Oklahoma, I'm taking them over 7.5 wins. I think all of it hinges on Jackson Arnold. If he is the guy, they can win some games in the SEC. You take a look at their schedule. It's going to be interesting to see how they can navigate it. Will, I'm not completely sold that when Tulane visits them that they can win. And I addressed Will, not Ralph, because of personal reasons. But
I appreciate
Tulane
that.
is going to make the trip up to Oklahoma. Tennessee goes there. Auburn wins there. Auburn goes there. But
Auburn
this
does
is
not
where
go
I
to
sit with
Oklahoma.
this.
Oklahoma
Or
goes to Auburn.
They go to Auburn. They could lose that game to Auburn. They could, maybe. I don't know. But if Jackson Arnold is a guy for them in this conference, you have to have a dude. Every single team that wins, regardless if you think the team's so good around them or not, that it elevates to play the quarterback. That's how college football and team building works, by the way. You have to have a guy. Like, Will, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but that's Auburn's conversation. Auburn's got all this skill, talent everywhere, but if you don't have a dude, none of it matters. And Oklahoma could sit in the same boat if Arnold's not that, because I do think they have talent around them. Now, look, they've got to find some things. Gabriel got hurt last year. He was kind of foot out the door. Arnold was kind of up and down. We know he has the God-given talent, but this is a guy who, if he puts it together, he can really, really be good. They bring in Seth Luttrell as their OC. I'm excited to see how that works, just in terms of implementing what they want to
Don't
do
mess with that dude.
offensively. Don't. That is a very
Pull
good,
up,
very
pull
good.
up, Google him and look at his picture. Google Seth Luttrell. That dude.
Yes, this is true.
Don't mess with him.
It's a new offense too, though. You bring in new OC. You have 4 guys, only 4 players who started as many as 6 games on the offensive side of the football. That could be a concern. They don't return a lot there. They do have veteran receivers. They're going to bring back Andrew Anthony, Jareel Farouk, and Nick Anderson. Purdue transfer Deion Burks was really solid for a bad Purdue team. He's going to give more kind of proven production to this group. But as a lot of people have
Ralph,
talked
that
about,
picture
this
doesn't even
offensive
do it
line,
justice. It doesn't even do it justice.
Oh my gosh. The offensive line is going to be a question mark for sure. Like we've talked about that. We got yelled about that on our kind of, post spring evaluations of these teams. But if the offense can be good enough, I think they can get 8 wins. And the reason being really true is because I think this defense will be pretty good. They bring back 11 of their top 13 tacklers. Brent Venables has started to build what they want there. They added high-impact defensive line transfer Dominic Williams out of TCU, who dominated what they wanted to do over in kind of Fort Worth, Dallas area, whatever you want to call it. But I really do like how they have built this defense under Brent Venables. I think the defense is ready to play in the SEC, and somebody can clip that if they get blown out. That's completely fine. Offensively, if they can make the adjustments, you look at this schedule. What is a path to 8 wins? Temple, I hope they beat Temple. Now, if not, I'll stop talking. Houston, I don't think Houston's going to be very great in year 1 under Willie Fritz. I think they can beat Tulane. That's going to be a really, really good game, though, actually. So that's 3 wins. And then you get into the conference portion. You have Maine, so there's 4. Can you find 4 more wins? Well, here's where I'm going to find 4 more wins. I think Oklahoma can go in and beat Auburn if Peyton Thorne is not that guy. I think Auburn has a lot of weapons, but I think they can go beat them. Tennessee comes to Oklahoma. High-profile game. Josh Heupel's return to the Sooner State. That's going to be interesting. That's kind of a flip game for me. Texas, they've beaten Texas before when Texas was perceived to be the better team. So why not this time? Anything can happen in that game. I think they can beat South Carolina. They get them at home. They go to Ole Miss. They host Alabama. They go to Missouri. They go to LSU. If you give me 4 wins against your non-conference, if you win every single non-conference game, and I'm saying you beat Auburn, and I'm saying that you beat South Carolina, that's 6 wins, and I need 2 more. I think you could beat LSU. You could hypothetically beat Missouri. You could hypothetically beat Texas. The only teams I don't know if you can beat is maybe Alabama and maybe going to Ole Miss. That's the ones I'm kind of nervous to say anything about. But guys, that's kind of where I sit with this. I think they could get to 8 wins. If they somehow get to 9 wins, you're talking about a 9-3 team with wins over potentially 6, 7 top 25 teams. That might be enough to get you into that 12-team playoff. So that's kind of where I sit with Oklahoma. We talked a little bit about that defense. They have 2 first-team all Big 12 guys they're bringing over. I talked about Dominic Williams as well. So I just think that they have a legitimate shot to surprise some folks in the SEC in year one. The hype's around Texas, but I don't think people are talking enough about what Oklahoma could do in year one in the SEC.
I agree with you there. I think Oklahoma's going to be better than a lot of people think, but that number scares me, 7.5, and it's because of the back half of the schedule.
Yeah,
going to Ole Miss is going to be tough. Going to Missouri is going to be tough. Alabama's going to be tough. Going to LSU is always tough. No matter.
Going to Auburn's tough.
No.
Jordan Hare is rocking. That.
That's an afternoon kickoff. ESPN said Auburn's not allowed to have any night games. Got to do all they can to.
It's like Georgia for about 4 years.
Got to do all they can to not give Auburn any advantages there.
Look what you've done.
It'll be like 200 degrees at Jordan Hare Stadium that day, so who knows what the crowd's going to look like. This is one of the toughest schedules in the SEC.
It is
conference schedules. It's asking a lot, especially of a first year starting quarterback. I certainly, like you said, like the talent around him. I have no concerns about the defense, Brent Venables' defense. This schedule is just really hard. I mean, you talked about Tulane. They could very well drop that game at home to Tulane. And then you're fighting to get back to 8 wins, and you're going to have to probably upset somebody. So, I think they'll be good. I like what Brent Venables has done so far and what he's done to get his program ready for the SEC. 8 wins is going to be a job to get to 8 wins.
Let me ask you this real quick. Look at this schedule. Am I crazy for saying that you could be 6-1 rolling into Oxford?
No.
And Will, to your point, there's a bunch of, and as Matt says here, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. You're exactly right. But it's a lot of boom or bust potential here because that out of you're right in that. But I don't, as much as we could say, hey, what if it's a nightmare season? You lose to Houston, you lose to Tulane. They could also roll into Oxford having dropped 1 game, and the 1 game I would be hesitant to maybe say they drop. Texas, Tennessee. I mean, I don't know. Like Auburn, you could roll into Oxford with 6 wins.
They could roll into Oxford with 4 wins and walk out with a win. I mean, they could have dropped 2 or 3 games and roll into Oxford with a win. I think that they're that talented.
Yeah. Because we're saying they beat Temple, beat Houston, beat Tulane. That's 3-0. Let's say they drop. They beat. I'm giving them a win against South Carolina.
Easily a win against Maine.
So what is that? That's 5 wins.
That's 5 right there.
Can they find 3 wins against Tennessee, Auburn, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, LSU?
Yes.
I mean, I think they could beat LSU coming in.
They can.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Ralph,
are you going to lock it in? Are you locking it in, Bryce? Over?
Yeah, I'll lock it in. This is not on the books here. Dr. Bob's not putting this in the spreadsheet. So, we're just kind of getting our spring training legs in. This is like that first appearance. You're only going to throw about 15, 20 pitches to get the body warm. I'm going Oklahoma over 7.5 wins. I think they could hit it.